Hey guys, this is Crap Hunter, and welcome back to World of Tanks. Woo! Woo! There we go. Um, you can no doubt tell by the tone of my voice that, unfortunately, I've got the lurgies, and it's not very nice. Yeah, basically, I've unfortunately caught a cold, thus, for the last few days, I've been dosing up as much as humanly possible on as many drugs that are safe to consume when having a cold, to try not to sound so glurgy. And fingers crossed, obviously the touchwood is going on right now, that I can hopefully get better very soon. I mean, the timing was impeccable, I'm not going to lie. Not only do I get herein not only do we get ready for the fourth test server for Armored Warfare's going up, I hear word of the new World of Warships test server was going up for a couple of days, and then this is coming up as well. So that's when my body thought, you know what, I haven't had a cold in such a long time, let's have one and let's make it really nasty for him. So unfortunately I was just too ill and sick to be able to do anything for the World of Warships thing, but damn it, I'm doing something for this. So today we're going to be celebrating, in a sense, the 5th birthday of World of Tanks, actual 5th birthday, unlike the EU, which I'll get onto in a second, by talking about the garage, talking about a few of the things that have gone by, and also looking ever hopeful into the future, and also exposing a couple of Easter eggs you may not have noticed beforehand. So, without further ado, let us get started on the 5th birthday of World of Tanks. So, World of Tanks is 5 years old. Snap. That's a long time. Obviously, we are celebrating the RU release of the game, which is technically its true birthday, as it was the first iteration to go out. And one of the cooler features about this garage, apart from the fact that it looks nice as Christ, is it also is designed in a sort of... I like this particular design, and it kind of pulls on the heartstrings, because as this garage is kind of designed as a semi-look to the future and remember your past sort of thing. And one of the other cool features is that it actually has a bit of a... It's also structured a bit like a museum. As, for example, you can see in this particular icon, you can click on certain things that will be silhouetted, and when you click on them, you receive a little brief text thing. For example, this one, Around the World, shows to us the shows us a timeline of how the game sort of evolved, if you will. So, it says here that, at the beginning of August 12th, 2010, marked the game's official release onto the Russian server. We didn't get it in the EU and American servers till the April 12th, the next year. So we didn't get it as quickly, but all that just means for us is we get 2 birthdays to celebrate, which is awesome. Apologies there. So, that's pretty cool. But it's not just the Earth that we get to see. Oh no, we get to see a few other things as well. For example, we'll make the obligatory reference to all the crew to World of Tanks who made it. Thank you very, very much, World of Tanks crew. I do love your game, but you do make some German tanks seem a little bit stupid, and the RNG is still a bit annoying, but I love you anyway. So anyway, back to the video. Another cool feature is that obviously as this has been designed like a stairway to heaven, if you will, you can see a few vehicles that are in the background. Some of you may notice the Jon Snow, or the Tier 9 Malchen, which was due to replace the Tier 9 VK4502B, but for some reason was withdrawn. I think it was because it was slightly more powerful than the mouse. You also have the T35, which was potentially going to be the first World of Tanks tank to have multiple turrets. This was, of course, I don't know why they didn't put it in, but maybe it's going to be in for another update. And in the background there is also a Waffenträger E100. I am, of course, worried, having seen 2 vehicles being removed or not utilized in World of Tanks, to see that there. Wargaming maybe delivering a subtle hint. And for the more observant of you, you'll have noticed 2 things. First of all, you'll have noticed this blueprint. It does not look like the Malchen, nor the Waffenträger, or the T-35. Yes, that is the Japanese heavy tank. I can't tell you what it is, because I've yet to go onto the Tier 9.10 test server, but I will do what I can to make a video of it, and I might even upload it out of schedule, so some videos may be held back because of that. My apologies once again, but when I've got a cold, I can dedicate to one cause and one cause only. So, I am excited as well to see what the potential they are. So that's a nice little Easter egg for you. But another Easter egg is also lurking in the background. Now I will position my tank as such, and I will calmly suggest you have a few seconds to have a look. So I'm going to give you the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've already seen it, haven't you? Well, if you haven't, it's not the end of the world, because it is, of course, the Sturmtiger, or Stürmerzer Tiger, which is, Now, if you've never heard of the Stürmerzer Tiger, where the hell have you been living? The Sturmtiger is basically, I suppose, one of the largest rocket batteries I've ever seen, where basically the Stürmerzer would fire a 380mm rocket shell into its targets, basically annihilating them. You know, the German equivalent of an Su-152 on steroids. And as such, and Wargaming have sent a message saying, will be introduced in the update. Or not. So, Wargaming being a little bit of a smeghead and saying, to troll or not to troll, that is the question. Okay, so now that we've had a look at the future, let's have a look at our past. Now, I will try not to bore you to death, because there is a lot of things in this particular garage. As you can tell by the stairway, it basically goes back in time the further down we go, which is a bit nice. As such, there will be some things that will pull on the heartstrings, because, damn, I remember that, and it was awesome. As you can see also, as this place is designed, sort of the most recent stuff is basically just one level down, which is obviously the domination event, which I'm looking forward to playing in 9.10. I've heard rumour that the next variant will actually be a lot better than the other one, and also it means we don't get spammed with bloody crews in my barracks, because I've had to pay 600 gold to fill the buggers in, because I'm keeping those buggers. I'm not going to have to sacrifice decent enough crews. I mean, it could be completely pointless, but still. We also see a couple of old favourites, the E25 with a suitcase of death, just about to land on top of him, which is hilarious. We also see an old favourite and a sorely missed tank, the T50-2. Oh, I remember this little bastard. You know, this little bastard tank always used to track me. Whenever I was in my VK3601H, I would be tracked by this little bastard every time. I don't know why. Scout tank drivers, it probably was because I was quite shit when I was back at tier 6. But regardless, whenever I saw him, I would always be like, fuck, and I was trying to reverse and try to shoot this guy. Because he was very quick, and I only had the L56, very foolish of me. I could never quite get enough damage on this guy to kill him off before he would end up tracking me, leaving me completely exposed to the hail of gunfire that would come towards me, which either would leave me on very low hit points, or also just kill me outright. So I hated him, but I also loved this particular tank as well, because, you know, it was awesome. And then when they replaced it, I was quite upset. I was a bit like, ah, almost no reason for it. Yes, this I loved. I really wish this and this were kept in the World of Tanks universe. Why? Because these two could honestly make seriously good, events. I honestly don't know why they thought it would be a great idea to get rid of them. Because, like, seriously, an esports World of Tanks football game, you know? Even if it was for a charity do, I think this would be fantastic. I mean, seriously, 15 players aside, 7 aside football. Yeah, the game would probably end up with the game not ever getting a goal, but you never know. Shit like this would be fantastic. But alas, it was not to be. We also have a variety of tanks that were removed from the game, other tanks as well. We've got the T23, which was removed in 6.5. Now, I'll admit, when I first played this game, although it says on my service record that I have signed up in June 2011, I didn't have... Back then, unfortunately, there were a few things which made me kind of put off this game for a while. First of all was the fact that the internet connection where I lived was utter garbage. We didn't actually have anything called BT over there, and I was on a constant crusade to try and get it. And second of all, at that point, I was about midway through my college, so I was, trying to get as much done as possible, whilst also trying not to get stuck in with other stuff. So literally, it was more like I didn't want to have another distraction on my head. And it wasn't until mid-2012 that I finally got into playing this game a little bit more, to a point where then I thought, you know what, I might do some YouTubing with it, and hence, history is here. So there are going to be some things I don't know, or never got the experience, or the chance to experience. Such as being able to use this thing, the original KV. Apparently, this particular vehicle you could get at Tier 5, and you could utilize the KV-2 turret. I mean, holy shit. That just sounds awesome. There's other vehicles as well. We also have... Where is it? There she is. Obviously the famous Type 59. Anyone who's anyone has heard of the Type 59 by now. So, that's particular famous. But also, this thing has also got maps. Old maps that got removed. Like this one. The Dragon Ridge map. I was quite sad. I actually quite like this map. That was the first map that I kind of questioned, why the hell did they get rid of it? I mean, yeah, it had its flaws and all that, and maybe maybe they could fix it if it came back into it. But I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. I think that was the first game they actually removed. No, it didn't. It wasn't. That was the first map I noticed they removed. I know that they removed Comrin a while back as well. We also have the Karl Thor, which is fantastic. And there's Ruinberg. No, that's the port map, actually. Ruinberg's to the right. So you can see the port map. I remember this particular map. Why? Because it was so awesome. Though, unfortunately, unfortunately, I think because when the World of Tanks finally instituted shells going through walls, most of that map became useless, which was a bit of a shame. But I remember this map, which, in all honesty, I have no idea why they removed it. It was a pretty damn good map. Just saying, it worked perfectly. No real reason as to why, but oh well. And, of course, we've got this map as well, Zavernogorsk, which was kind of controversial because it was actually a Russian gulag. Now, I don't really mind this particular map. I think there were good games in this particular map. Unfortunately, though, a fair amount of people in heavies camped a lot, which is a bit of a shame. And there's just a whole bunch of other things, which I won't bore you to death with over that stuff. I mean, I heartily recommend you jump into the World of Tanks game and stuff to have a little quick look at, because it is pretty fantastic to have a look at. Now, one more thing before we go into the review of the tank in question here. Let me show you something which Germany was cooking up near the end of the war that, if it was around, could have seriously fucked over the Allies. I will introduce you to the P1000 or Panzer 1000, if I can angle the... Right, because it's kind of a bit of a secret thing. You see this here. If I try and angle it. Oh! Would you look at that? See those two guns? If you... I can't... It's very difficult because it's not allowing me to see everything. But if you could see that, that is the P1000. I can't remember its full name. I'm fairly certain people will shout it in the comment section. But that particular tank, if you can just tell by the size of its guns, that thing there is ginormous. It possibly could be the largest battle tank ever created. And it's got 2 freaking guns. I mean, if you have a look at, say, the KV-5, which is possibly... I don't think it's the largest tank, but it's certainly one of the heavier tanks. That said, potentially, Japanese being heavy. And imagine that thing with this thing on top. I think this thing would probably beat the new Japanese tanks. So... that's pretty freaking cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty freaking cool. Very much looking forward. I'd love to see a game mode where you have to fight that thing. God, imagine the hit points on that. That's easily like 10,000 hit points, and like half. And like the game would basically be 30 on one tank, you know, and it has to be tier 10. You know, all the Waffenträgers in the world couldn't ammo rack that thing. That's just hilarious. So yeah, there you go. Little tiny Easter egg for you guys. See if I can get a better angle from this side. And I can't. No, it is clearly just stuck on that side. So there you go. Awesome stuff. Anyway, let's get on now to the actual review of this tank, the BT-7 artillery. So, now that we've had a look at the garage, let's have a look at the tank. This is the gift tank BT-7 artillery. She is a tier 3 light tank, which has been given a sort of modification role, which makes it slightly more like a derp tank than our actual artillery. So, let's have a look at the little brief history that she has. In 1934-35, Kharkiv Locomotive developed an artillery modification for the BT-7, giving it a 76.2mm turret, gun with the new elliptical turret. In addition, she also received a new radio, which 155 were manufactured, which saw some service in Manchuria and also during the early stages of Operation Barbarossa. So, for career-wise, this thing probably wasn't super famous. It probably might have made an effect on the battlefield, but probably not as much as it had hoped. How does she fare in World of Tanks? Well, not too badly. But then again, don't forget, this is a gift tank. She's not really dedicated to be a actual foe on the field to keep your eyes on. You know, it's not like oh shit, it's a BT-7 artillery. It's nothing like that at all. It's simply a gift tank with a big gun. And as such, let's have a look at the stats. So, she has, for health, 220 hit points. This isn't bad. It's not excessively bad. It's not like an excessive amount, but at the same time, it's not limiting you by its shortness. So it's a healthy mix of average. It can do. You can take a couple of shots from a 45mm or a 20mm, but you're not likely to be all like, oh shit, I only got one bit of health left. It's not like that at all. But then again, you also can't just blanket your way into the front line thinking yourself immortal, because you'll die very quickly. So a nice healthy balance of both. Going to the weight, you weigh 13.75 tons. You have a maximum tonnage limit of 14 tons. I also forgot to mention that 13.75 is with 3 equipment modules attached. Bad crap hunter. I've got a cold, screw you. Anyway, this combination mixed with 500 horsepower gives you a very impressive 51.6 km/h speed limit, which is pretty good. It's also boosted by the 46 traverse speed as well. This is actually really awesome. I would say this is one of the stronger features of this tank, as its nimbleness and mobility allow it to be able to easily move from one position to another, being able to identify and fire on a couple targets before relocating and hammering in on a couple of other targets before doing the exact same thing along a sort of a different front. And it's actually pretty damn good. It's actually pretty impressive to do as well. And I kind of like that in certain vehicles, the ability to quickly maneuver from one spot to another and being able to still hit targets on multiple areas. That's pretty fantastic. You'll also see as to the reason why she has such good mobility, because she's got no armor. Well, as a tier 3 tank, not many tanks have armor, but this one, not much if anything. At the front, she only has 20mm of hull, 19mm on the side, and 13 to the rear. And the turret is worse. She only has 15 to the front, 15 to the sides, and 13 to the rear. So, under no circumstances does this thing have the ability to bounce. It shouldn't. If it does, you are literally, the piss of Stalin is going to be gracing you, because it's, it's just not going to bounce anything. It's very unlikely that it will bounce anything, and as such, my advice in combat would be to try and stay as far away from the combat, of a 20mm spam cannon as possible, because if they get their eyes on you and lock onto you, you're going to die. It's quite simple. The Panzer 1C will eat you for breakfast. So definitely be exceptionally careful when it comes to engaging your opponents. And also, just generally use that mobility to your advantage. You can utilize the tank, move around, keep weaving and dodging, because if you just stand still and let the enemy shoot at you, it's not a very good idea. Not a very good idea to do that at all. Now, on to what could possibly be its better feature or its worst feature, the gun. Now, although this particular tank says it's called the BT-7 artillery, it doesn't actually operate like artillery. It instead operates more like a derp cannon. This is the gun that you get to utilize on the BT-7 derp tank. She is a 76mm KT-28, 76mm cannon with a 12.5 rate of fire. Now, my current reload for this is 4.99 seconds, though hopefully it'll get even shorter, as I'm only at like 80% with my crew. Her penetration is, as artillery, is ironic in the sense that she has a higher penetration for the high explosive than she does for the armor piercing. So just load the high explosive completely. Completely pointless to try and use that. It's terrible. Just don't bother. High explosive, you get splash. The damage for this particular gun is pretty impressive, being 164 for the high explosive and 110 for the armor piercing, though to be honest with you, this is all that you'll ever need to worry about. The accuracy is like artillery, being at a 0.6 and the aiming time is a god-awful at 2.4 seconds. This particular gun, as I said, can be your worst enemy because it just trolls so hard. And especially at tier 3 games where you're engaging maybe one, instead of it being maybe one or two guys on the front of you, there'd be like 6 enemy tanks rolling up towards you. And they're not going to stand still. They're not going to be very small. They're not going to be slow movers. If you do get a slow mover, then you're lucky. But most of the time, you're going to be engaging light tanks with a lot of speed behind them. And as such, it's going to be exceptionally difficult to try and utilize this particular tank in combat when you've got vehicles with admittedly light armor, so you know you're going to penetrate if you hit them. But that's about hitting them. And also, thanks to the fact that you do have high explosive, you can also potentially track them. But still, this gun is amazingly inaccurate. The shell travel time is freaking horrible, which is where maybe taking armor piercing, what some people would suggest taking armor piercing because, at least you have a faster travel time. True, but considering the fact that you have to spend like 4.9 seconds to reload, whereas if you fire a high explosive and you hit, and you maybe not hit, but maybe you might clip someone and track them, that might save you. So, this gun is a troll. It's worse than the SU-152 because it can just make you swear, foam at the mouth, and then collapse into a heap because of just how infuriatingly bullshit the RNG can get you. So, generally speaking, my advice for engaging people like this is keep your distance. Although the shell travel time means it's going to take a while, there are also those who will camp a ridgeline, and not to sound like a seal clubber, no one at that tier will understand how armor and angling will work. They'll not understand the maps, they'll not understand these things, and if you are an experienced World of Tanker, some people will say seal clubber and stuff, but hey, it's a tier 3 gift tank. I'm imagining a fair amount of people everywhere will have used it at some point low going down. So you can take advantage of perhaps some of the people who don't quite know the map to utilize your shelter of travel time. If you are an experienced artilleryman or derper, you'll know exactly how to utilize this thing to your advantage, thus giving you an extra power in the battle. But still, this thing can troll you so hard, so be advised. So just keep your distance and try not to avoid the temptation to roll forwards because the gun may troll you even more. You may get lucky and hit someone who's close by, but then they can see you and shoot you and then probably will kill you. Going on to the view range and signal range. Your view range is 290, which isn't bad. I also have a pair of binos stuck on, so as soon as I've got the binos up, I get 334, which is kind of nice. I also have, for signal range, a 300 meters, which, obviously, because my crew isn't 100%, they're not fully there yet, but still, it's not bad. For a tier 3 tank, most maps, you'll be alright-ish. When you get onto the extreme flanks of your team, you will start to see people disappear. For example, Malinovka. You get to the top of that hill, you're not going to know what's going on down south. So just be advised on that matter. Your friends will disappear if you're not careful. So, before we wrap up and go into battle, let's have a look at some equipment modules. For this particular tank, I have selected the loadout of ventilation shaft, enhanced gun laying drive, and binos. Now, the third option is, of course, up to you, but my first two recommendations is improved vents and enhanced gun laying drive. Enhanced gun laying drive if you really want to spend money on it, and if you really want to keep it. For me, I might keep this thing. I might just demount the enhanced gun laying drive and perhaps attach it to another tank or whatever. But generally speaking, yeah, if you want to use this thing more efficiently, the enhanced gun laying drive is needed because the aiming's dispersion is just absolutely terrible. And if you want to get your eyes on a target, enhanced gun laying drive. She doesn't come with a vertical stabilizer, which is sad, but also she doesn't get the rammer, which is also even more sad. I'm sad. It's very many sad things are on this day, which is a shame. But still, it is, the cheaper sort of aspect of this thing. You can definitely get the improved vents. You can probably, if you have a spare pair of binos, you can probably grab that as well. But yeah, that's probably the most expensive thing, seeming as it's 500,000 to get normally. So this is my recommended loadout if you want to make this thing efficient. Obviously the third option is up to you. You may wish to have a light spore liner in case you're encountering similar derp guns. Maybe coated optics because you're engaging people a lot and you're on the move a lot. Either way, it's up to you. So, with that said, let us now jump into a couple of games with the BT-7 artillery. And we're back, and we are in a Tier 4 game on Malinovka. Or, no, Muravanka. Muravanka! There we go. English failed me now.
Time to roll out.
Right, okay, so I'm going to relocate kind of close to the cap. We'll have a 4.98 as well, which is nice. By the way, I have introduced the World of Tanks to my new, a new mod pack that I've got, which is immensely useful. And when, obviously because we've got the 9.10 test server about, I won't be making too much details as to the mod pack until like after 9.10 comes out and once the mod packs have all been updated, because let's see if we can relocate. Yes, because then that way I can sort of make more of a dedicated thing. Because obviously to try and talk about it now when the test server is in motion, it's like probably not the best of ideas, because by the time I finally get everything sorted, it'll probably be like, oh look, the test, it's gone to live now.
First blood.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different features in this particular mod, which I like a lot. So anyway. Oh, there's an M8A1, and there's a Panzer II. Oh, a Panzer IIJ. Right, take my time, take my time, take my time. Aiming circle is absolutely terrible. Fire! Smack right into his side. Popped his shot. So yeah, like I said, the aiming time of this thing is absolutely terrible. Taking my time. Fire! Boop! Right onto the top of your gun. Withdraw. Keep the distance. That's not what you should be doing at all. Ah, dang. Right, gotta calculate for shell time. Oh, taking fire. Chiha's purple shots. Chiha is nearby. Oh, there's the M37. Oh, and somebody got ammo-racked. And that's where he is.
Critical hit.
What a lol. Right, he's down. And there's an enemy M3 Lee nearby.
Critical hit.
Now, I'm not going to penetrate with many of these shells, but if I'm lucky... Oh, that was a good pen. Low roll, but pen. Hello. Someone else is using the derp. LOL! Arcing for the win! Okay, he's down. Right, there's the last of the enemy tanks. Scumbag! Ah, nearly.
Double kill.
Oh! Did you see that kill? What a kill! What a freaking kill! Anyway, so yeah, you can use the arcing of this thing quite efficiently. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh, that was funny. Oh, my head hurts, but that was funny. Right, so there's one kill. So there's one game. So, utilizing the high explosive to its best, and, of course, using the binocular telescope to its best, allowing me the ability to kick ass, take names, and have some bubblegum to chew on. I will see you on another game. So, here we are on Ensk for the second game, after that right old laugh of the first. And we're on a Tier 3 game. Now, this is going to be slightly harder, because I imagine, because basically there are a lot more BT-7 artilleries out there, which means a lot more derpage is out there. So, fun times. Hopefully not. Well, hopefully yes, but, you know, hopefully... Yeah, like I said, going on to the maneuverability of this thing, you can see that when the initial... Oh, that didn't actually work. When the initial, initial movement of the game is made... Boom! That's a really terrible arc. Can I try again? Oh, there's one. Ammo rack! Right, let's maneuver into something a little bit more tactful, shall we? Knock that open. Aim, 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 aim. Getting rammed by an idiot who isn't paying attention. Okay, Mr. Douchebag, I will move, but mainly because you're being an asshole.
First blood.
Don't you just love it when people don't give a shit about tactics? It's like, look, there's a building to the other side, but I will go because I want to move. Right, so the enemy have taken out one of our tanks, and we've lost the Panzer 1C. Knock it over. Right, enemy BT-7 artillery. This is where it gets slightly dangerous. We're going to be going into combat, and it's going to be very close-knit. So naturally, I don't want to just rush. That's why the RNG on this thing is not going to be nice. Go forward again, I dare you. I double dare you. I triple dare you. I quadruple dare you. And you are daring.
Enemy is hit.
Oh, somebody just got hit. Does he know I can shoot through the wall? Oops, maybe not.
Enemy armor is hit.
Yes!
Vehicle destroyed. Enemy is hit.
Oh, someone got lucky. Oh, I was going to hope to get him with a splash. I will get you.
Double kill.
He's down.
Armor is destroyed.
Hello.
Triple kill.
He's down.
Destroyed.
Right, I've got to be careful here. We've got this.
Ultra kill.
Right, he's down.
Destroyed.
2, 1.
Critical hit.
Only critted him, bugger. And that's the game. Didn't take a single lick of damage. Caution wins the day. Oh, we got Reaper as well. Lol. Yep. 761 damage because I nipped that bastard through the ribs. Nice. I also ammo-racked that tank as well. I damaged that turret. Damaged the turret. Damaged the gunner. Knocked the trap. That was the last shot as well, which is a bit of a shame. But still, pretty damn impressive nonetheless. Like, when utilised properly, this thing can be quite a lot of fun to play around in. Admittedly, when you're in a higher tier game, not so much. But, pardon me, that said, it still can rock the field, which is fantastic. So there you go, guys. The BT-7 artillery and the 5th birthday of World of Tanks. Happy birthday, World of Tanks. May you long strive forth to give us hilarious moments like that, and also give us better game and better physics to be able to even make more fun and hilarious circumstances arise. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Apologies once again for having the cold, but unfortunately it's just that time of year. Thank you very much for bearing through with it. And fingers crossed I'll become better enough to hopefully return and do even better stuff. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of content, do let me know in the comments section down below, clicking on the like button, and of course subscribing to the channel. This is Crap Hunter, signing out.